Well, it's Robert Campcraft, Self-Reliance. How you guys doing today? A little dreary and cold for some reason for late May, early June. Um, Today I'm going to stay in the shop and do a little project here. I got a 6-foot mower for my tractor that I'm going to be needing a couple of weeks. And the trail wheel was missing off the mower when I got it. And so what I've done here is got a trail wheel from Tractor Supply, but my arm that it attached to needs a bigger shaft, so I went and got a piece of bigger shaft the size I need. So I'm going to end up cutting this old one out and getting that one welded in to here, and it needed to be longer also. So we're going to be putting this onto there, so I'm going to have to cut all this out and get this opened up where that shaft will pass through, get that all lined up, and get this trail wheel all made up. So stick with me, we'll see what we can get done. Okay, I think our best option here is I'm going to take the big cutoff wheel. I'm going to go in here and grind this weld out, and that would separate the bottom part of this original shaft off with that. And then I may go ahead and cut these welds on each side of here, and that would separate this top bar and this from the rest of this trail wheel. And then once I get this cut out and I get this hole opened up to fit the new bigger shaft, then I can go ahead and weld. Okay guys, as you can see here, I got that plate ground off from there. I pulled it out. I decided to do that plate instead of cutting this one. There was a lot more welds involved than what this one was, and I think it's going to work out just fine. Now I don't have a drill bit that big, let alone this big. So we're actually going to do with what we got instead of going out and getting what we need, because I go up to about 1 inch or 30 or 27 millimeters or something like that in diameter, which isn't quite near as big as that. So what I think I'm going to do, and I've ground the bottom part of that off also down from the bottom. So I got pretty much a flat surface, but I can still see this plug here where this shaft went through. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to get the oxyacetylene torch out, and I'm just going to blow through this plug here. And there was a dimple like when at the manufacturer where instead of drilling this out, they used a big punch press and punched that in, and so there's like an in brown dimple there. And my new shaft looks like it goes just right out to the outside of that dimple. So I'm just going to carefully with the torch just sit there and just keep working this out until I get that cut out there. I may go ahead and get something and mark out to where I can see that a little bit better as I'm cutting. So I can just cut to that, and it may be I'll just cut a little bit at a time and I'll get to where that just passes through. If it's a little sloppy, that's okay, because I'll just square this up with some squares and weld this to this anyway from the bottom side, because I don't want to weld up here, because this is actually a mating surface where this is going to go. So I don't want no weld up here. I'm going to weld down here at the bottom, and then that plate will go on there and weld with that also. So I'm going to go with the torch route. So we'll see what happens. Okay guys, as you can see there, I got that hole really close to my final size, but and it doesn't quite fit through yet, but I think I could clean that up with a burr grinder and maybe some files and stuff until that fits. It's really close. Battery died on the last of cutting that out, so you didn't get the last part of that, but sorry about that. But we'll get this all set up, start filing that hole out. Stick with me while I'll get that set up while the battery's charging. Okay, as you can see here, I'm not a professional welder, but I got that welded to that support plate. I got the support plate welded back on. I really can't weld up in here because that is a mating surface between the other part. And excuse the jiggering around, but this thing's hot. I'm going to grab a glove here. We're going to spin it around. When I get the piece of equipment up here, I got this a little long, and it's got to go through a shaft that's got a grease zerk in it, and then I got to drill a hole to put a pin so it don't fall out, and then I got to try to get a couple of machine washers that'll go in the top and bottom, and so that'll pivot without binding. But just flip this over. You can see here I got that shaft welded back to the top plate and to the bottom plate the best I can reach in there. I have that bottom plate welded on the inside and the outside. Actually, there's probably more welds now than what there was originally. I squared this up the best I could. I used my squaring magnets to do so, and the best that I can. So let's get the wheel back on and do a test fit. Okay guys, camera malfunction again. It was off when it should be on and on when it should be off. I'll have to edit what I can, but as you can see, we got the shaft all welded up in there. I was having issues with when I welded and heated this up, it actually shrunk these arms and made them too narrow in. I was trying to figure out a way. I tried using a bottle jack. I tried putting this nut over here on the inside, clamping that side and spreading it out, but it kept going back in. So what I ended up doing, thanks to Kevin Johnson at Midwest Woodcraft, he still has his anvil in my other shed over there, and so I took it over there and I put the inside of the flat horn on the back side, took a big hammer, and that tweak and bends were right here on each side. Some of that might have been from welding down in here, and it brought that in. So I put that as close to this corner as I could, and I started striking up and down this side on each side, and it actually worked too well. I actually got it too far out, but close enough to where I could get the nuts and everything on. So I got my washers in between the arm and the wheel hub on both sides, and the reason why I want to do that is so I don't have this spinning and wearing the arm out. So I have a wear surface there. This wheel does have a grease zerk, so it should get greased once or twice a day when it's in use. And then something else I have to do here is I need to either drill a hole through here and put a pin so this nut can't back out, or I need to get another one of these nuts and just double nut that. I think I like the first idea because one, I probably got the clip, and two, I'm not worried about it just seems to be a better fix. When I get the mower up here, and that's probably going to be another week or two before I get that up here. I got to go out in the pasture and go bring it up. But the arm for the mower sits in here somewhere. I got to put a thrust washer here, so as this is pivoting on the hub of the mower, that I'm not wearing this flat plate out, or the hub that this will sits on the outside of here. And then I need to drill a hole. Never been really good at it, but I need to center punch a hole and drill a hole probably about 1/4 inch and try to get it lined up and go straight through here for another clip pin. That way when I raise the mower up, I want this to slide up and down to a certain extent for adjustment. But so I can put a clip pin here, and that can't fall off the hub, of course, when I pick up the mower. I don't need, a huge amount of adjustment there, but I did buy this longer than what I needed it. So kind of recap, we had to cut the old shaft off here, which was much smaller. I cut this inner gusset out, and then what modifications I did make to this, I actually cut the other end of this shaft up in here. This plate is in at an angle from this plate. This is my flat plate here, and this plate sits at an angle. I reinstalled it back where it belonged, but I cut when I actually cut a bevel or a wedge off of this into this. That way it set flatter onto this, was still sitting pretty much relatively parallel with this. So I got a tighter connection there, and then I was able to pretty much almost weld all the way around and get all this welded back in. I actually have more welds on here now than what this factory thing was. So